and welcome to another episode of Laying Down the Lore 40K, a lore podcast in which we aim to separate our Necrons from our Night Lords, our Psychers from our Servitors, and our Orcs from our Old Ones, and generally ask, what's up with this 40k stuff? My name is Ben Crone Barber, and while I used to know pretty much fuck all about 40k, I now know very little.
I can see your light vulva.
With me is my co-host, Christopher Crowlin Allen.
Darren can't unsee that now that's been said.
Who, despite years of valiant effort, still knows next to nothing.
Yeah.
And my dear brother, Darren.
Actually, if this collar was a little bit higher, I'd look like Superman's dad.
Get over yourself.
Who knows so much, more Lex Luthor, mate. Who knows so much about Warhammer, it's frankly disturbing. This dichotomy between our levels of understanding is why we're all here, as this series is an attempt to address that ignorance.
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 Yeah, wasn't it? Superman.
Spider-Pig.
Marlon Brando, who's got some sort of consumption and a fondness for trifles.
Or Oliver Reed after one of his legendary benders.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would love to have been like an innocent bystander on one of his drinking sessions, just to see how much that man would put away.
Yeah, you love benders, don't you? Yeah.
I do. Well, it's 2025, Ben. You're not allowed to call them that anymore.
Darren put the ender in bender.
He's an ender bender. For listeners, Dar is sporting one of his... He was telling us before the recording about his... he thinks his midlife crisis is coming in the form of shirts. So he's got a lovely new shirt on. It's one of these short collar, like a half collar. So it goes up, but it's like winged, but short winged.
Talk about vulva.
And it only has buttons up to the kind of chest area.
Yeah.
Darren, are you saying I am nowhere near my midlife crisis yet?
You're nowhere near it, mate. No, nowhere near it.
Better.
No, what you've just gone through, Kral, was just an episode. An early 30s episode.
Unfortunately, it was a 3/4 life episode. I hate to tell you.
Yeah. The motorbike is still to come.
That happens very regularly from now on, Kral. Yeah. I'm just glad I'm just far from midlife. That's all. I'm just happy with that. Thanks, Darren.
I don't think I've ever seen you with a shirt. Oh no, you had a shirt on at the wedding at the weekend, didn't you, Kral?
I did. Yeah.
Was it a short neck as well?
Huh? And surprise, it was this shirt.
That exact shirt. Timeshare shirt.
It was a white shirt with a granddad collar as well, because Darren and we've got something called style, Ben.
Yeah.
You might want to get some.
Yeah, Ben, you have fashion. We have style. To give you a context of the shirt's reception so far, I walked downstairs and my son was in the front room, and I walked in and he said, "Oh, I'm glad to see you made it all the way from the Shire." Cheeky shit. So I destroyed his ring. What?
He is getting ruder and ruder, that boy, isn't he?
Yeah, and funnier, unfortunately.
Yeah. And bigger, which means that I can't challenge him as much. It's he actually towers over me, which is mental. How tall is he now? Like 6? Must be like
6'3".
6'3".
Why? How?
Yeah, why? Well, because his parents are both pretty tall. Right?
I like the idea that you go up to people with a range of disabilities and just go, "Why?" It's not something they can control, me.
Hey, look.
I love that Sam's height is a disability. He's so tall he gets rejected from funfair rides.
Yeah. No, he actually has to stand as one of the supporting struts holding stuff up.
Right, Crowley, you know what time is.
Citizen of the Imperium, it's time for frontal lobotomy or bottle in front of me.
Yay. I wonder if her voice has changed. It's been a few years now.
We should maybe ask for an update.
Yeah, right, citizens of the Imperium.
What are the best she comes on like Eartha Kitt?
All about me, or bottom in front of me, you bastard.
Yeah, she's turned into Sean Bean.
You bastards.
Yeah, Michael would love an update. Would love an updated version.
So question 1, what was the lowest officer level? What rank was the lowest?
Floor.
The lowest officer rank. Was it a lieutenant?
It was a lieutenant, Crowd.
He's nailed it. He's only nailed it.
He's off to a flying start.
Yeah.
Question 2, what was the highest level within a company?
Highest level within a company. Captain.
Fucking hell.
Well, he's on fire.
Is it?
He's on fire. This is it. He's had his Weetabix this morning, isn't he? Right. Now, this one, Inquisitor Randall McDangle has not sent us answers for, but I'm sure Dar can fill in the blanks.
Seems like a common
Can you
theme.
give us... It is a common theme, yeah. He's fucking useless. Can you give us 2 alternative names for chapter masters? You remember the chapter masters, depending on the legion or the chapter, had different names that were thematic.
Yes. And they were along the lines.
No, he said yes. That's a point.
Well, I'm pleased you've asked me this question. It's a very
You're
important
really asking
question.
2 questions here, Ben. And the first one dates back to Warhammer 30,000 when the firstborn Space Marines. I want to say, yeah, no, I do remember Darren bleating on about it, and it was something like
He was just waffling
in that sing-song Scottish voice that he does, and there was something like more epic. Like, yes, you've got your chapter masters, and then you've got your fucking like something commander, and you're something lord, overlord, emperor, or something like that. Not emperor. You can't say that. I can't remember the specific names. And it's killing me, but I do remember. So just trust me when I say yeah.
Do you remember?
Nope.
All right, Carl.
What a remix!
I'm not going to give you that one. Dar, can you give us some names? Was the Space Wolf one like a Packmaster or something?
It was
like
Wolf Lord. The Wolf
Wolf
Lord.
Lord. So, Crowell, you were half right, but I'm not going to give you. Oh no, that's the Pussycat.
That's the Pussy Commander.
It is Wolf Lord Fenris. Moo.
The Space Cows.
Pussy
The Bovine
Commander.
Marines.
Sounds like a uni nickname, doesn't it?
No, that's
Hey baby, some people call me the Pussy Commander.
that's the no one in your life has called you the
No. I think in uni I maybe at one point wished that had possibly happened. And what were the other ones? Or were there other ones?
There was Grandmaster or Supreme Grandmaster as well. For Dark Angels.
Okay.
Yes.
Sweet.
I just love the idea that the Minotaur's battle cry is just moo.
Was he your best distressed cow, Ben? Nope. That's when you got your prostate examined.
What was that? Was that an ineffectual ghost?
Yeah. I mean, if you've ever been caught off guard, you know exactly what I'm talking about, listeners. Whoa! Moo!
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 Did you just moo me? You just mooed me.
So moving on,
Lame.
Yeah. Let me just say, boo.
Did you just boo moo me?
I tell you, I was surprised as anyone else, lad. She gave me the old boo moo, and I don't know what. I can't remember my name.
I did not think we were going to get this many laughs out of moo. Oh, dear. And it's a shame because I can't name the episode Moo because we've already had one of those called Moo. So,
Oh dear.
We could go moo too.
Moo 2, yeah. Boo 2. Boo Moo.
Moo this.
Yeah, so it was kind of very officer. There was lots of very, very cool minis, weren't there?
I'm just looking at them now.
fucking-
The chaplains and the librarians. The librarians, they annoy me somehow, but the chaplains look emo and gothic. They look cool, but they seem a bit of a ball breaker. They're like, are you being religious and committed enough to this chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like the prefects of the chapter, aren't they? They're like
Yeah.
just making sure everyone's in line and shit. And the apothecaries, we mentioned those as well. They look pretty fun, and the tech marines as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tech marines look pretty boss, actually.
Yeah, I think the chaplains were the winners for me in terms of the minis. That kind of like black,
the aesthetics,
scully. Like, yeah, they look fucking incredible. I see why people like the Black Templars. And I tell you what, man, is it a scout librarian? The one who
the one's going like this, the milady. Yeah.
He's got a cloak over his.
Yes, he's a vanguard librarian.
Yeah, that's a fucking
with
cool
a sword
mini as well, man.
Yeah.
I love that he's like, I'll put this camo cloak over my massive
bright
armor.
Blue armor.
That'll hide me. Yeah. Where did he go? Yeah. That's that then. Episode 49. Go.
Well, episode 49, listeners will be delighted to hear this is yet another image-heavy episode, but I'm going to try my best to use the images of words. What?
The theatre of the mind.
The theatre of the mind. The strip joint of the pancreas. So we're going to run through the different types of vehicles available to Space Marine chapters, both in the lore and also on the tabletop. So we're
Rhino,
going to be
Razorback,
discussing.
drop pod,
there we
attack
go.
bike.
Now we're not going to cover
Land
the
speeder.
ones we did a couple of episodes ago, which Chris is mooing through at the moment. But suffice to say, there is what you've thrown me off with your list. There is the Rhino and Razorback. Razorback's the version of the Rhino that has a heavy weapon mounted on the top, and the Rhino being just an armored personnel carrier, used now exclusively by Firstborn Marines, but previously in earlier editions, well, really only in Rogue Trader, it could be taken as a transport for Imperial Guard or the Imperial Army and squats as well. So any Imperial force could use it. Mr. Yu.
Moo. How many more Imperial Guard and therefore how many more squats could you fit in an APC that was designed for Space Marines?
The transport itself had a maximum carry capacity of 10, so it could take a squad. And that really was true for all. The capacity to carry troops was associated with the vehicle and not the type of trooper it would carry.
Right, okay. Right.
That's changed in later editions of the game where, say, for instance, a Thunderhawk can carry 60 Space Marines. But you can carry Terminators as well, and Terminators count as 2. And you can carry a Dreadnought, and a Dreadnought counts as, I've forgotten which, it was either 6 or 10 Space Marines. So there was an offset you could make to carry a diverse troop type.
You can have like 2 squats, one stood on the other's shoulders, kind of in the position that a Marine would normally be in one of these vehicles.
I mean, you could.
It'd be pretty funny.
Doesn't mean you should.
It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't do that.
Is this going to end up with us reliving your views on child soldiers?
Look, all I'm saying, it's an untapped resource, all right?
Oh, we found the line for Chris. He's not amused. I beg your pardon. He's not amused. Yeah.
Nice.
So as Chris quite expertly said, the Rhino, the Razorback, and the Drop Pod were the dedicated transports for Firstborn Astartes. We also then did cover the different flavors of land speeder, bikes, and attack bikes. So those are really all of the light vehicles and transports, dedicated transports for Firstborn and Space Marines. We're going to tag in some Primaris stuff towards the end, but there is far fewer Primaris vehicles than there are Astartes or Firstborn vehicles. So Thinking of a way to do this, we'll kind of go from smallest to largest. So we'll start with kind of support options.
The Primaris roller skates.
Yes, the cross your heart Space Marine bra. Yeah. For many of the Firstborn, certainly from Firstborn Legions, but also into the Firstborn chapters, they were able to bring kind of medium support weapons. So these were mobile mini artillery pieces. And the most common were the rapier, which is a small kind of tracked vehicle that has a single kind of heavy weapon on it, or an array of heavy weapons. So some of these included like a quad heavy bolter, a rapier laser destroyer, which was the original version from the Rogue Trader. The laser destroyer is a laser machine gun, a heavy laser machine gun. That's the way to think about it.
It sounds like it was named by a child, doesn't it? What do you want to call this, little John? The Super Laser Gamma Ultra Laser Shooter.
We also had something called the Quad Launcher, which is a reinvention of something called the Thud Gun, which is a quad-barreled mobile mortar, effectively. And cool. So the image I'm going to show here, listeners, and all these images will be in the show notes. The first one is of a pair of support weapons and their crew. And so what you see there is at the top is a quad heavy bolter on a kind of mobile tracked support vehicle. And then the one on the bottom is a grav gun, like a grav cannon. And that's the one that increases your mass relative to the planet that you're on. So
make sure it's as fat as a planet. That's
it's
fucking brilliant.
It makes your localized gravity feel, 10 to 20 to 30 times stronger than it actually is. So it's good for slowing down heavy armored vehicles and troops. Mr. Chris.
I really like the kind of mustardy, burnt orange kind of color scheme of these
that's the
guys.
Imperial fists. Yeah,
that's the Imperial fist, and that's their like characteristic color, is it? That of the Imperial fist.
Yes, that yellow is their trademark color.
And those are the kind of like nearly marine-sized kind of bots, almost remote control bots. They look like roadside workers in that livery. Do you know what I mean?
They do
I
a little
imagine
bit.
them like highway agency workers working on the bloody Black Cat roundabout for the next 2 years. Yeah, they're unmanned, aren't they? And you can see a guy with like a little...
Oh, yeah, the vehicles are unmanned. The little small kind of pieces are unmanned, yeah. But they each are crewed by 2 Astartes.
Is that one for moving and one for firing? Is
that a gunner and a spotter, effectively.
Right.
A gunner or a driver.
See, right.
Yeah. They have existed in some level up to, I think it's 8th, where those kind of, or 7th, where those types of support artillery pieces were removed and really could have one, but it had to come with a tech marine. So it was like you bought it with a tech marine, a combi kind of thing, and it was a dedicated artillery piece, which was a giant quad launcher.
I can't profess to have seen a lot of minis in my lifetime, but I don't remember seeing these like unmanned bots at all. They look really cool. They're a really good addition.
With the advent of the Primaris Marines, we started to see dedicated support platforms, one being a kind of heavy weapons platform that would be manned by a tech marine, and the second is a almost like a drop pod bunker that came with a ridiculous amount of weapons on it. And so the Firestorm servo turret is the tech marine gun emplacement, and then you had the Hammerfall bunker, and both of those will, again, I'm going to stop saying show notes because everything's going in the show notes.
Show notes is implied.
Both of these are a part of the Ultramarine. You see the kind of red armored tech marine manning the autocannon turret.
Nice. Doesn't look dissimilar to when you get your nurse who sits behind the bloody armored plate when they're about to take an x-ray. Like, okay, if you just want to put this thin sheet over your groin and I'm going to stand behind this fucking armored plated gun whilst we take an x-ray.
I'm always like, Can I not have an armor-plated gun, please? It seems... why am I being left here?
So the turret there is obviously to lay down suppressive fire or covering fire. The Hammerfall bunker operates as a mini strong point around which you can anchor a military kind of maneuver or strategy. And so both are defensive more than offensive. Although being the Space Marines, they use them in an offensive manner. Mr. Chris.
Can you populate the bunker with Marines as well, or is it unmanned?
I believe it's unmanned in my research of it because, it's got 8 heavy bolters and rocket launcher as well. So a lot of it's going to be just jam full of targeting.
It's all automated
stuff. Yeah.
Doesn't need to be manned. Yeah, okay, fine.
So how does that work on the tabletop then in terms of kind of deployment?
You just you put it down.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, both are kind of dropped in from either from orbit or low orbit via some sort of pod that doesn't appear on the thing.
Right.
It's like a glimpse into like Amazon deliveries in the future. It'll be from orbit. With your fucking toilet roll.
Here's that book you'll never read. Bam!
Vaporized all over your driveway.
Just leaves a crater. You never get your car out again.
The next section, so that's the kind of support weapons, the relatively light support weapons. The next section I want to talk about are the walkers. So this is going to be war suits and dreadnoughts. Now,
cool.
They're 2 separate things. War suits are piloted.
Formal wear.
Formal wear. Dreadnoughts are a suit of armor around that a Space Marine wears. But the Space Marine is heavily damaged and in what's called an amniotic sac. So their remains are plugged into the dreadnought. So the dreadnought armor feels to the Space Marine as ordinary armor feels to the Space Marine. So it's not piloted, it's worn, if you see what I mean. It's perhaps a semantic distinction, but an important one. So we'll look at...
I'm guessing that the main difference is that the Marine piloting it, in one instance, can get out.
Yes, that's probably a better way of saying that. So, Frodo, if you could edit me saying that would be great.
Use AI, please, Frodo.
Yeah.
Darren, that's not how editing works.
Yeah. Quiet, you. Moo.
Oh, I've been mooed.
You've never mooed before, have you?
So, we'll start with the smallest type of walker, which are the Centurion kind of battle suits. When these were brought in, there was quite a contentious reaction to them because they look like obese Space Marines.
Sure, look like. Yeah. I only look fat. I'm not actually fat.
So these are Space Marine warriors who are wearing what is effectively, if anyone's watched the Matrix movies, do you remember those war suits at the end in Zion? Yeah. It's that kind of notion, but scaled down. So they are actually piloting a war suit. The Space Marine themselves is wearing their full armor, and they've now climbed into like an exosuit. Not kind of, it is an exosuit that's gone around their person, known as the Centurion. Now, these are siege war suits. And so we'll see we've got 2 variants there, the Devastator and the Assault version. The Devastator with the chevron is equipped with 2 laser cannons, 2 las cannons, and chest-mounted rocket launchers. And so these are used to take out strong points from a distance. And so the Centurions are designed to take out strong points and kind of tunnel and siege warfare. They're designed specifically for like anti-materiel actions. The assault guy is equipped with kind of rock grinders, so grinder drills, and then a melta-gun on each fist. So his job really is to get right up to walls and just kind of dig a path through, so he and his brethren and all the Space Marines that are following him can get into or penetrate the strongholds or bastions they're trying to, penetrate.
Yeah, that's very specific, isn't it? When I saw those, they look like borehole machine things, and they're specifically for getting through enemy defenses, burrowing through walls and shit. I guess they can fucking use them as melee as well, right? In a melee situation,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Get a skull between them and fucking grind them up.
They're really good against vehicles as well.
Yeah, the eater-uppers.
The eater-uppers.
Chop.
We'll have a look now at our first Primaris vehicle, which is something called the Invictus Tactical Warsuit. This is a Vanguard warsuit. So this is worn or piloted by the 10th company of a chapter. So these are the Vanguard Marines. If you recall, these are the ones with the power shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, no?
Phobos armor, Darren. Phobos armor.
I beg your pardon. Beach armor. And so this looks almost exactly like the war suits from the Matrix. And you can see it is effectively a driven dreadnought. So you can see the pilot there in the center of the torso, a very large, bulky kind of mecha.
Classic mecha kind of vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that kind of Battletech giant robot style vibe. You see he's got on this vehicle, it's got, I should say, like a power fist and then a rapid fire autocannon. And then it's got two smaller kind of heavy stubber style guns mounted in the vehicle's chest, either side of the pilot. What I like about this kind of vibe is it's also got a heavy bolter strapped to its thigh, like a
sidearm,
like a pistol, for use in close combat as well, or an additional range combat.
It's fun when they scale up those heavy things for the sake of big mech. I love that. And you know what this mech suit is, Darren? It's perambulating.
It is. It can perambulate, Chris.
It perambulates.
Amazing. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. It's dropped in with the Vanguard units and is used as kind of very fast mobile fire support. So if they're going against a slightly more well-placed or well-entrenched enemy, they'll drop in a couple of Invictus war suits as well. That will give the Vanguard's kind of stealth commandos a bit of extra punch in the mission. Those are kind of the war suits. As Ben quite correctly said, these are machines that a Space Marine can get out of. What we're going to look now is walkers that Space Marines who are mortally wounded can be put into and to keep their battlefield experience going within the chapter. And these are the Dreadnoughts. Each is a kind of mecha war suit built around what's called the sarcophagus. So this is the kind of final resting place of this Space Marine. And for many of the Space Marines, it comes with a great deal of pain, both physical and mental, because they understand they're divorced somewhat from reality moving forward. They do have a habit of going crazy towards the end of their effective lives. And many of them end up being held in stasis and only then released, or only then deployed once battle is near. The longest surviving dreadnought so far is Bjorn the Fell-Handed from the Space Wolves, and we'll cover him when we cover Space Wolves. He was alive during the Horus Heresy, was interred into a dreadnought after Lehman Russ disappeared, after the Heresy, and so has existed for 10,000 years.
Wow.
Bet he's very cantankerous, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, Bjorn the Grumpy Bastard is what he is. He's held in stasis 99% of the time, and so has only been activated, I suppose is the word, when either the Fang, which is the Space Wolves chapter fortress, has been under threat, or where his expertise is needed. And usually what happens is he's reactivated, they deal with the threat at hand, and then he tests all of the kind of officers and units in the kind of lore and teachings of the Space Wolves and Lehman Russ to make sure, like he's he's the headmaster effectively.
Do the others like roll their eyes? Oh God, he's going to test us again. Yeah. All right, sit down. What's his name? Berghand the Cantankerous. Have your dates and custards.
There are numerous versions of Dreadnoughts. I'm going to show you the most common, the elite version of the most common within Firstborn Space Marines, and these are.
So these are basically 40K mobility scooters. These guys who are piloting them can't walk of their own volition, or they're less mobile than they were before. Okay, so they stick them in a 40K mobility scooter, gives them a bit of independence, a bit of freedom.
Yeah. So what you're seeing effectively is it's probably a couple of cars high, but it is a very chonky box-like sturdy dreadnought walker. It's equipped with a twin-linked las cannon on one side, and on the other it's got like a dreadnought power fist, power glove, a cruncher effectively with a bolt with a storm bolter.
Get my cruncher
attached to it. Get my cruncher. This is a venerable dreadnought, denoted by the kind of gold plate and scroll work. And this is an officer or a warrior that has existed or lasted for many centuries and thus has built up a ton of experience. And you can see he's a veteran there because the helmet is white. So there is some evidence that the helmet is actually on the head of the Marine inside it, but I suspect in reality that's just an affectation so that the Battle Brothers have something to look at when they're talking to it.
Sure.
So you saying that, is the position of the Marine inside not really described? Is it more likely that it's just a collection of bits, or is he in like a kind of fetal position?
Have any of you seen the most recent version of RoboCop?
No.
Yes.
And there's a scene where the guy, I've forgotten his name, says, "Show me what's left," or "Take away all the bits that are robotic," and it ends up is just his lungs, his heart, and his brain in a jar. Effectively, that's what's inside that dreadnought. It's the withered remains of a battle brother who has, received not one, not two, but 5 mortal wounds.
Wow,
there's a lot of blind spots in that thing, isn't there? Like,
you don't have to worry about blind spots when you have that much armor, Kral.
Sure. Also, it's not as slow moving as it seems. It's quite reactive, and it's perhaps slightly slower than just a regular Space Marine, but it's still, it's still terrifying. A transhuman warrior inside, and they've kind of dialed all the reflexes up to 11. So, it's a solid kind of squad support. So these dreadnoughts would be used as kind of close support for a couple of squads or dedicated missions where it's required that they'll need some sort of mobile support and they don't have access, or it wouldn't be suitable to have the basic support weapons that we saw on the tracked vehicles. There have been in the past stories of mass dreadnought on dreadnought combat, and we will cover one of them in the relatively near future. And
cool.
There are some chapters who have a commander, well, not a commander, but have one of the more specialized officers. Like there's a chaplain edition of a dreadnought that is painted black and has skulls and the bone motifs and stuff. There are librarian dreadnoughts, And the most famous one, which we will cover in detail when we get to the Blood Angels, is a dreadnought that looks like that, but can fly.
Whee!
Through the power
Shut up.
of the warp.
That's wicked.
So it's it's brilliant. It's absolute lunacy, especially on the tabletop, because you had a dreadnought that usually just kind of waddles along, killing everything, but this one kind of zips up, moves over here, comes down, and goes, ha-ha, and stabs you with a force weapon.
And goes, moo, before blowing your brains out.
As it's moving. I'm moving.
I'm moving.
It's like the noise that all units fear, like the moo call of the Blood Angel Dreadnought.
But in like a Doppler effect.
Just in the distance.
Like, yeah.
Did you hear a moo?
And so what we'll do now is just throw up the Primaris versions of these dreadnoughts. And there's 3 principal ones.
These are just the shit versions.
Yeah, those are not the newer versions. So what we're going to show now are the Primaris dreadnoughts. The most common one is the Redemptor dreadnought. That's like the tactical, in quotes, dreadnought, which has a power fist and a kind of big, heavy plasma cannon. There is the Ballistis dreadnought, and that's the Devastator version. So that has 2 real kind of powerful ranged weapons instead of arms. And then we have the Brutalis dreadnought, and that's equipped for getting in and just mincing up lots of light and heavy infantry, because it has the dreadnought version of those lightning claws. So they're, again, a very similar shape, a bipedal, mecha kind of robotic vibe. They're significantly taller than the firstborn dreadnoughts, but you see the 3 there.
I'm picturing the brutalist one as just lots of plain concrete, the architectural style. Just very
surprising. It's surprisingly Art Deco.
Yeah, it's kind of communist era sort of vibe about it.
So,
God,
it's like Titanfall. You played Titanfall?
Yeah. That's the vibe again. Yeah,
except they ain't getting out. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they've decided they've obviously got to the point that we're like, yeah, let's just do away with a helmet. Like everybody knows there's nobody in there.
Yeah,
just draw a face on like a really crude face on the front.
That's what the other Marines do, is a laugh. Like they'll draw a funny face and then just stick it on with paper. Like.
Yeah,
I'll pop those in the show notes, but it's to show you the Primaris have realized that they're moving away from. And we discussed this in the Primaris episode, they're moving away from kind of jack of all trades style formations and vehicles, and moving towards more specialized vehicles. So if you want a lot of firepower, the Ballistis dreadnought is what you want for mobile fire support. If you want something that can take out vehicles and infantry in close combat, then the Brutalis, or Brucey, as I now call him, dreadnought is the one you want, because it's not only got the lightning claws, but it's got 2 big, huge multi-melters kind of embedded in its chest, which will just mince through heavy armor and fortifications. And so these dreadnoughts not only are good and correct and fun in the lore, but it also, depending on your play style, which dreadnought you will want to take in terms of the fire support you need for your unit. Mr. Chris?
Mate, you're selling these fucking mechs like nothing else. If the podcast doesn't work out, start up like a used dreadnought sales forecourt.
I mean, the dreadnought, for Space Marine players, for Astartes players, dreadnoughts are beloved.
And let's talk points. They look expensive.
Yeah.
There were editions where you could actually buy a squad of dreadnoughts. So you could have a squad of 3 dreadnoughts, which you could deploy, and they're deployable by drop pod as well. So you can have these dreadnoughts just bamf onto the tabletop, or indeed in the lore.
How much would an individual one cost then, points wise, on the table?
You're looking at around-ish 200 points, plus minus depending on the weapons. Then
Nice.
For the firstborn, it was slightly cheaper. I think you could get away with about 175 for a kitted out.
But Dan will do you a deal today, Ben, on a lease, right? 1 balloon payment right at the end. No payment up front.
Or you can exchange it. You can give it back, and then you get a fresh model. Yeah. I'm all about the lease, Krell.
Oh, you're still on the firstborn model? Oh, you really need to get yourself on the Primaris edition.
We're moving on, and we're moving back to the Rhino chassis. If you recall, the Rhino, the armored personnel carrier, and the Razorback, the one with the heavy gun on top. The Rhino vehicle served as a platform for multiple different types of weapon system. And we're just going to go through the most common here. These included, given that the Rhino is classed, it's a tank, but it's a kind of light tank. It's not as chunky as the other vehicles available to the Astartes. So you had Rhinos that had turrets and then weapons on either side. That kind of configuration is called a Predator. And you had you had the Predator Annihilator, which was equipped with all las cannons for taking out enemy armor. And you had the Predator Destructor, I think it was called, which had heavy bolters on the side and an autocannon on the turret. The Predator was so ubiquitous that chapters started to customize them for their own specific needs. So the Blood Angels had something called the Baal Predator, which was a Predator with 2 miniguns, 2 assault cannons in the turret. And so I'm just going to throw up a couple of pictures there. So you can see there we've got the Rhino chassis with the turret on the top and then what's called the sponson weapons on either side.
Are you talking about the red or the blue?
The red is, well, both have those. They both have turrets. So they're both a core of a Rhino armored personnel carrier. Then they have a turret on top and weapons, a weapon system on each side of the chassis. So for the blue or ultramarine version there, it's a Predator Annihilator, and that has 4 las cannons. So it's got 2 las cannons on the turret and then a las cannon on either side. And they're used to take out enemy armor.
And has it got like a little gun at the top, or is that a camera or something?
Those are the kind of pintle-mounted squad weapons. So that's got a Stormbolter. And if you recall, a Stormbolter is what a Terminator carries, the Terminator Space Marine. So that's just used by the by the driver or the commander of the tank to take out enemy forces that are kind of infantry that's coming towards the vehicle.
That's the red one.
No, on both. You see,
on both.
You see, it's got a small gun on.
So the blue one is just unmanned.
The blue.
Present.
Yeah, well, the blue one, the hatch isn't open, so the commander's not using it.
The hot box in it inside.
Yeah.
Shut the hatch, man! Shut the hatch.
Well, chaps, it's time for another go at the lore is right. I will give you a question to which the answer will be a number, and the one who gets the closest to the number without going over will be the winner.
Without going over?
Yep.
Okay.
And the question is this: how many Astartes can fit inside a Razorback transport?
Regular armor or Terminator armor, Darren?
Regular armor, Chris. Only power armored Astartes can fit inside.
I'm going to say 10.
Okay.
And what vehicle? Sorry, remind me.
A Razorback.
A Razorback. Yeah. 16's too many. I think 10's on the nose. I do. I think it's 10. I also think it's 10.
Can we both
10.
say
We can't have the same number. We can't have the same number.
You can
if you can you? Okay, it can be a draw.
If you want, it's a free country. You're entitled to pick your.
Bro, you can do what you want, but you should go with 11.
A more dominant 10 than Ben.
I think. Okay. I'll tell you what. Right, for the sake of competition, you go 10. I'm going to go 11 because I think he's asking this because he's being a sneaky bugger because he said a lot of them are 10s. Okay, right, I'm going 11.
In that case, I go 12.
Fine, I'm going 10.
So I'm taking now that Ben, your answer is 10, and Chris, your answer is 12.
Yeah.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
The correct answer is 6. It was 6 Astartes.
No, we both went over
No, you both gone over. No points to anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Because you both went over.
Damn it.
Oh, Ben's victory is short-lived there.
Forgot about that one. Okay, fine.
I don't mind losing as I bring Ben down with me. It's fine.
For the Blood Angels, the red vehicle there, you see it's got flamethrowers, effectively. So it's got 3 flamethrowers, 2 on one on each side, and then a twin-linked Inferno cannon on the top. And that's really trying to get in there and barbecue your enemies and clear out the kind of light infantry and light vehicles. And the Baal Predator, used correctly, can be devastating. But as I say, it can also be equipped, instead of that kind of firestorm cannon on the turret, it can have the assault cannons, which are the miniguns. So that can pepper the enemy forces. It's to thin down the ranks. So the Baal Predator is really useful against infantry, where the Annihilator is useful against heavy vehicles, or in some cases, monstrous large creatures as well.
Cool.
The next kind of variant we'll look at is the Whirlwind, and that's simply a large missile pod stuck on top of a Rhino chassis. So you've got this kind of boxy...
Sometimes the simple ways are the best ways.
Exactly.
Stick a fucking missile launcher on top of it.
Yeah, on a mini.
On a mini. Yeah. So that one there, I think those are called the Castellan rockets. So each one of those missiles opens up and launches hundreds of little mini explosives onto the ground. So it's an area effect.
Mines?
No, actual explosives. And then you have the other version, which the name escapes me, and that's a kind of stronger but smaller area of destruction, if you see what I mean. So you have an option of large area with mild destruction and smaller area with heavy destruction.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little. Mr. Ben.
I'm going to ask the question, which I know all listeners, once they see this image, are going to be thinking, what is the ammo restriction on a vehicle like that has what's quite clearly 4 very, very large missiles? Is it a 4-shot and done?
On the tabletop, there are no ammo restrictions.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. In a game that lasts 6 rounds, you can fire that 6 times.
Fuck me.
Well, there's nothing stopping you buying an additional Rhino and converting it up to be the ammo holder and loader for that vehicle.
Ben will happily waste 200 points on that just for authenticity.
For it to actually make sense.
No, it doesn't fire anything. It just holds
Look,
the ammo.
Kral, look, as an experienced 40k player, we've all got to round 5 and tried to fire said vehicle, and the opponent has been like, you fired that 4 times, there's only 4 rockets there, pal. Where's the 5th coming from? So.
Another kind of missile version of the Whirlwind, which is the name of the missile pod. Whirlwind is the Hunter. Now, I don't have an image of the Hunter, but the Hunter and Stalker chassis were dedicated anti-aircraft platforms, and this was 6th or 7th edition when flyers started to be more prevalent within the game and appear on the tabletop. So they can be used against land targets or ground targets, but they were most effective against aircraft. So I've got an image of the Stalker here, which was equipped with 2 kind of autocannon arrays or laser arrays, depending on the version, which were used to take out aircraft within the game and within the lore. So again, it's just a Rhino chassis with 2 Mahusif autocannon array guns on it with a big radar dish that helps it identify the targets. What I like about this vehicle, it's got kind of anchor points, much like construction vehicles have in our own world.
Yeah.
They'll park up and then these legs will come down to secure it against the ground. And that's what that Stalker chassis has.
Like stabilizers on a bike.
Exactly right.
Are they as effective against like flying infantry, like jump pack guys, as they are kind of flying vehicles?
No, it's really it came down to the advent of keywords. It was most effective against something that had the flyer keyword.
Gotcha.
So it's airborne vehicles. It could still shoot at units and stuff, but it was less likely to hit them because they would be too close.
If you didn't have one of those and the opponent had minis with the flyer tag, what were your chances of downing them?
You would have to, depending on the edition, the most common rule was you could only hit them on 6s.
Right.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was kind of the longer ranged heavy weapons that you would have to use to try and hit them, because you couldn't use a bolt pistol. That'd be ridiculous.
Right.
Bing! So the final Rhino variant I want to show here is something called the Vindicator. And this goes back to we've seen some vehicles here that are specialized towards sieges and destroying barriers and walls, but also are quite devastating against infantry types. So a real up close and personal. And this is simply a Rhino that has an enormous kind of cannon strapped, poking out the front of it. And we see here it also has a kind of armored bulldozer effect on the front. So it's really for like breaching enemy lines.
Clearing the snow and ice off your driveway as well.
You'll be delighted to hear, Ben, we don't have a better angle of it, but you see the kind of box that's proud of it at the back.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little crane that's holding a battle cannon shell.
Excellent.
So there is
2 shots.
Like a spare
That's 2
tire.
shots out of this.
No, we can say at least 2 shots.
At least 2 shots. Okay.
Yeah. So
you see the kind of 3-prong barrels, the little short barrels that it's got on the top. They were on a couple of the other vehicles as well.
Yeah.
Are they like mortars or are they like smoke?
Little grenade launchers, aren't they?
They're smoke launchers. So it gives you a benefit against being hit. Given the power of the heavy weapons that are available to are portable and man-sized, man in quotes, vehicles don't really tend to last very long. So the addition of the smoke launchers allowed you to give you a better chance of survivability so that your vehicle could be used effectively. A lot of vehicles tended to have one good round and then would be destroyed.
You just aim for the smoke, wouldn't you?
There are exceptions to that, of course, but with the Rhino there, with the variants of the Rhino chassis, we can see that there are a lot of light to medium tanks available, all built around that one type of vehicle, and that is evidence of the strength of the STC, the standard template construct, where you could build Rhinos. I think in the initial, when the first Rhino miniature was launched, it said it could be built out of anything up to and including wood.
We say up to, do you mean down to? Including wood.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But it gave you an idea of how the settlers could build Rhinos as quickly as possible to be able to get around their kind of pioneering ways. It should be noted on all of the Rhinos, you see kind of 2 smokestacks on each side. Those smokestacks, those kind of little plug-in bits, they're actually the engines. A Rhino has 4 engines, 4 small engines, with huge torque that allow it to progress through. I think that might have been retconned in later editions, but it was...
They're all electric now.
Yeah, one of the reasons why the Rhino was so ubiquitous at the dawn of the Imperium is because it could take a kicking and keep on licking, or whatever the phrase is.
Whatever it is the kids say these days.
Whatever it is, it licks and kicks, yeah.
Are those engines locational? Like, if you took one of those out, would that just cause the thing to go in circles?
I don't know the answer, but I would like to think that it has 2 engines on each side, and each engine powers that side, so there's a bit of redundancy there. So if you took out
I see. Okay, right.
both on one side, it would probably, it would go in a very wide circle.
Yeah, okay, right.
So the next vehicle we'll look at is the Land Raider, and this is the heavy tank of the Astartes. It combines both the ability of a really good battle tank, but also of an armored personnel carrier as well. And this is used to get warriors into the heart of the battle, into where the fighting is the worst, because it is so heavily armored. And it's inspired by the first tanks that were seen in World War I. So it's a very kind of futuristic yet retro design.
Boxy.
It was it the second kit? I think it might have been the second plastic vehicle kit released, second or third, because I know the Orcs had one as well. And so you can see there, it's got a pair of las cannons on either side for dealing with enemy armor, and a pair of heavy bolters mounted in the front at the top of the chassis for taking out enemy infantry. And you'll see the kind of jutting lower jaw that pokes out of the front. That is the kind of the entry point. So that will open, and you can disgorge your Astartes into a battle after
give birth
with relative safety. Again, a chassis that has had innumerable kind of variants, and we'll just talk about a couple here. The first one is birthed from my own beloved Black Templars, and this is the Land Raider Crusader. You can see it's got, instead of the 2 las cannons, it's got an array of 6 bolt guns on either side, and it's got a twin-linked assault cannon mounted at the front. And I think, yes, it's got a multi-melta as a kind of crew-operated weapon on the top. You can see on the front over the tracks, there are some sort of armored plates there. Those are explosive assault launchers. So this vehicle is designed to drive into huge enemy formations or into a breach in a wall, and mow down as many enemy infantry
fucking unload
as possible.
Moo. Bang, 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 bang.
And because it doesn't have any of the capacitors or batteries required to power the las cannons, because it has a huge bolt gun array instead, it can carry up to 16 Space Marines. And so you can get a huge squad of Space Marines right into the enemy position. Now, Land Raiders can carry both normal powered armored Space Marines, these are firstborn, as well as the Terminators. So being able to, get 8 Terminators into the heart of the battle, into the heart of the enemy formation, is a real, we're going to say game changer for any given battle. But as I say, some evidence it was rediscovered or invented, in quotes, by the Black Templars, but it has then spread out to other chapters.
But the Black Templars did it first, right, Darren? They did it first.
Black Templars
did it before it was cool.
They do everything first. The other variant I wanted to show is the Land Raider Redeemer, which is a specialized version of the Crusader that makes it even more fearsome. So it retains the assault cannons mounted on the front, but it uses 2 enormous flame weapons on either side to wash out enemy positions. So with the bolt gun arrays on the Land Raider on the Land Raider Crusader, you could still get cover saves. You could still hide behind stuff, and the bolt rounds wouldn't get to you. Using the heavy flame cannons on the Redeemer, there's no cover. It just washes over everything. with this Promethean fuel, and so is good at really winkling out the enemy forces from cover.
I love a good enemy winkling.
Mm-hmm.
There are many iterations of, or many variations on the Land Raider. There are command and control versions. There's also heavy artillery versions, which has, instead of where the assault cannons are on the Land Raiders, there in the images I've just shown, it has an enormous rotary cannon, like a quad barreled cannon for just devastating. And that's known as the Land Raider Achilles, and that's a specialized unit for the Minotaurs. And when we do the Minotaurs, we'll talk all about the good fun that can be had with Land Raider Achilles. Cool. Mr. Chris, you had a question.
I did. Just your comment about the different weapons on these Land Raiders and how they affect gameplay. So what is the chapter of the green?
The green one is the salamanders.
Salamanders, and it's got the flamers on the side.
Yeah.
And you said that basically when you go up against these, you don't have a cover save, as in these can basically fire around corners because flames are all enveloping.
Yeah, the flame just kind of washes over the terrain. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So it will essentially, even if you're behind, like, let's say, I don't know, a wall or something, some sort of traditional cover, which would protect you from regular rounds and ammunition.
Yeah.
You stick one of those motherfuckers in front of it, the flames will basically envelop them and you won't get the cover save.
Exactly right. It's like a napalm,
corners, basically.
Effectively, It's a napalm cannon.
Okay.
The next section we want to look at are flyers. We're going to just have a look at the kind of three most common for the Astartes, and these are available to almost all chapters. The one with the enclosed armored canopy, which looks like a cross between, it's a very short-winged airplane. That is the Stormhawk Interceptor. So that's an anti-air. So that's an air superiority vehicle used by the Astartes, and all of these are piloted by Astartes themselves. The next one I want to talk about is the one that looks like a little kind of flying egg with the engines on either side and the multi-barreled assault cannons on the bottom, and that is the Talon Interceptor, and so that's used against ground targets. So that's air support for your ground units within the Astartes. That's not to say it can't take out enemy aircraft. It can, but its primary use is to take out really enemy tanks and enemy armor to allow the infantry the best chance to get in and achieve their objective. The final one, which is the kind of front-heavy vehicle, is the Storm Raven gunship. And that is a flying rhino, effectively. It has a troop capacity. It can get a squad into battle, into advantageous positions. For our listeners, it's like if you had a jumbo jet, a small jumbo jet, but the undercarriage and the back half were missing, and that's where the engine is. So it's a sort of it's a helicopter with wings coming out of its tail, if you see what I mean.
Right, okay.
One of the great kind of advantages of the Storm Raven is it actually has a docking capacity on the back, so it can carry a dreadnought into battle as well.
Wow.
So it is used for swift repositioning, either kind of very quick deployment, or it can reposition during a battle. Mr. Chris?
It kind of reminds me of the Pelican off Halo, which can like drop
that kind of vibe.
And that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Deploy vehicles. It's also got like a turret on top as well. Does that swivel? Is that all like
Yes,
limited?
that does turn, and it's for taking out enemy vehicles or enemy flyers.
All three look very fast and maneuverable, I'm guessing, because of they've got turbo engines on them, but very, very short wings. Would that mean high maneuverability, I guess? Very
high maneuverability. There is some evidence of kind of suspensor technology, making the vehicle's mass less, so that the engines can operate at a more effective
level.
Not the most aerodynamic things I've seen.
No. Well, there's very little of the Astartes that is aerodynamic at all.
Yes,
Right.
indeed. Yeah.
You'd think in a world where they have man-portable las cannons that can take out a vehicle, you'd have very low-level vehicles, but these are all high-sided
Yeah.
affairs.
Yeah.
Again, it's a projection of power more than, stealth.
Yeah.
There are a number of other vehicles that some chapters have that are variations on these flyers, and we'll cover them. I'm thinking mostly of the Dark Angels, who have perhaps the most ridiculous-looking land speeder variant called the Dark Shroud, which is effectively a flying church. And I'll just, for the sake of...
Of course.
Who are these? The Blood Angels or the Dark Angels?
Dark Angels. And so you see there, it's a stretched land speeder that has 4 huge turbo engines, making it very maneuverable. But it has, it's crewed by 3 Marines, a heavy bolter at the front in a kind of pulpit, in a religious pulpit.
Oh, yeah.
A pilot, and then a guy at the back. I'm going to assume he's just playing the organ.
Yeah. Da-da-da.
We'll get into the abilities of the Dark Shroud because it's actually pretty cool.
That's so that's a Dark Angels, but it's painted black.
Yes, because the Dark Angels' second company is called the Raven Guard, and that's their elite kind of scout biker company. So,
and are they different from the actual Raven Guard? Is it because there's a legion? There was a legion called the Raven Guard.
Did I call them the Raven Guard?
Yeah, you call it
Raven Wing. Sorry, Raven
Wing. Right.
Raven Wing. I beg your pardon. I'm going to have to go and wash my mouth out. The last flyer I wanted to show is the Thunderhawk itself, the Mac Daddy of all flyers in 40K. It's fucking huge. That vehicle, the Thunderhawk, is the dropship of the Astartes
Red Dwarf
chapters. So so it is a mixture of an assault gunship. It's like if an Apache helicopter and a jumbo jet had a child.
Yeah,
it's that kind of predatory troop carrying vibe. So that can carry a full half company plus some support, either in vehicles like bikers or Terminators or a Dreadnought. And so that's used, a couple of them will deploy a whole company of Space Marines onto the battlefield. We see here, this one is in the Blood Angels livery, but almost all chapters have multiple...
it's the Big Bertha, isn't it? It's the fucking...
It is.
It's the Winnebago. It's like...
For those,
everything. Like, we need defensive, offensive. We want to bring the grill.
Yeah.
Throw it all in. Yeah, just throw it all in.
For those who have played Space Marine 2, it is the vehicle, the front of the vehicle opens up to a kind of landing platform, as it were. And it's that visual that is when you're introduced to Marnius Calgar, the chapter master of the Ultramarines. Because when they fly in, he's actually standing on the open gangway at the front of the ship, shooting into the Thousand Suns.
Like an absolute G.
Mm-hmm.
We'll close out today with a look at the Primaris versions of some of these vehicles.
Again, these are the shit versions, are they?
Yes. And so what we'll look at is their version of a Predator-ish, which is the Rhino chassis tank. And so we have the Repulsor, what's it called? Repulsor Gladiator or Gladiator Repulsor. And so this, you can see it's the APC, the dedicated troop transport. You remember in the Primaris episodes, we looked at the Vanguard's transport. This was like the Hover Rhino, but it was open.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the enclosed tanky version.
It's not seeing much action, this one, is it? It's very, very polished. It's clean.
Very polished. But as with most Primaris vehicles, it's using hover technology or anti-grav technology. So it is quite speedy in getting into the heart of the battle. It's a Predator style version of a troop transport, which has a turret with 2 rotary cannons on the top and some bolt arrays on either side to get in and clear out light infantry and really kind of take out light vehicles as well. They do have a version of the Land Raider, the kind of hover Land Raider called the Repulsor, and we'll show a couple of versions of that here. We have the one with the long-barreled rifle, or long-barreled cannon, I should say, is the Repulsor Executioner, and so that's used to take out heavy armor. And then on the bottom, we have the kind of generic Repulsor vehicle. You see it's got some entryways there. It has a troop carrying capacity as well. But given the state of 10th edition, troop transports are not really as effective as they should be. But yes, so the Primaris do have versions. They do have their own hover versions. And if you look at the final one I just showed, the Repulsor, with the Tech Marine and red armor on the top, it has an enormous array of weapons. So it's got a twin-link las cannon on the front, a las cannon on the turret, plus a kind of autocannon. It's got grenade launchers on either side, and then lots of grenade launchers on the turret. The data card for this vehicle is huge. And so, yeah, if you really wanted to irritate your opponent, you'd take 2 or 3 of these to slow the game down to a crawl when it's your turn, because you worked out what you're shooting where. Yeah, but nonetheless, a good look. I like the look of them, and we'll see what happens to them in 11th edition. We showed you the Thunderhawk there as the kind of largest vehicle available to Space Marines on the Firstborn on the battle.
But there's a larger one.
No, it's not necessarily larger, but
one.
It serves a different purpose. But the Astraeus hover tank, kind of super heavy hover tank of the Primaris Marines is there. You can see that's an enormous hovering weapons platform.
That definitely moves.
Yes.
It looks like the
moves.
Looks like the Scorpion out of Halo, doesn't it?
It does. It looks exactly like that, in fact. Yeah. You'll notice that the huge kind of railgun turrets there, either side of that, you'll see these kind of metallic spheres or metallic domes. Those are void shield generators. Those are the ones that are found on Titans. So this is an incredibly tough, resilient vehicle used really as a formation breaker. It can break enemy formations.
It looks like it can do a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It looks like there's not a lot it can't do, to be fair.
No. I did put together a selection of the more esoteric vehicles that were available to the Space Marine legions during the Horus Heresy. If we have 10 minutes, I can just drop in a few of them, because they had a larger array of vehicles. Again, some more specialized, some kind of all-rounders. They did have a selection of, we'll go with walkers again. They had some really quite effective siege dreadnoughts. I'm thinking mostly the Leviathan, which is in the image I'm going to show you here, yellow, and the Saturnine dreadnought, which is green. And these are Mahusif Chonky boys. Again, they house the remains of a Space Marine. And so the one in yellow, the Leviathan dreadnought, is used to break open enemy strong points. So you're seeing a lot of weapon systems and vehicles that are used to get at the enemy rather than to destroy them from range.
I've got to say, I love the look of the Heresy stuff. It's got such a wicked style about it. It's like kind of old and chonky, but still futuristic.
Yeah.
Timeless. It's timeless, Ben.
Timeless. There's another couple of dreadnoughts I want to show here. One is, again in yellow, is the the Imperial Fist, is the Contemptor dreadnought. That was the most common type of dreadnought during the Horus Heresy.
Bumblebee.
Yeah, you'll see there's a lot of design aesthetics that were brought from the Contemptor into the Primaris dreadnoughts. And then we have what perhaps is the most ridiculous looking dreadnought as well, the Doredo. But yeah, let's just, I'd love to see your reactions to these.
Yeah, the that one definitely looks like a Mech Warrior kind of IP figure, doesn't it? Where its arms are. Oh, sorry, the green one. What's that?
Oh, the Sons of Horus.
Sons of Horus. Yeah, its arms are cannons,
guns.
There's no articulation to them. He's just a launching platform, basically.
For our BattleTech friends, it looks remarkably like a battle mech called the Rifleman. It's that kind of look. So it's a anti-infantry, but it can also be used for anti-aircraft kind of weapons platform to take out forces with two kind of twin-linked autocannons and then a huge missile pod or paired missile pod on its back. But those, again, they highlight the specialized nature that the Astartes had during the Horus Heresy. If you recall, there were no kind of jack-of-all-trades units or vehicles. They were all specialized in some fashion.
Specialize at fucking things up. Hoorah!
The Astartes also had access to more kind of mainline battle tanks. They had Kratos from, Gods of War, but also they had something called the Sicarian. And these, again, were used like Rhino chassis, or there were variants of them, like with the Rhino chassis. So the Kratos was kind of their mainline battle tank where Land Raiders and Rhinos were not as effective in that role.
So like a mine-sweeping device at the front.
Yeah, it's basically a bulldozer blade to get rid of mines and to run through enemy units.
Yeah,
but you can see a huge battle cannon on the turret, and then multiple kind of weapon systems like heavy bolters dotted around the chassis as well. This was replaced by the Predator variants eventually, if you see what I mean, because all of these more specialized vehicles, the technology to manufacture them and or repair them kind of fell by the wayside. So it's one of those instances where the past was more advanced. Mr. Chris.
Going back a few images to the big green dude with what looks like lava pauldrons on his thing.
Yeah, the Saturnine Dreadnought, yeah.
That's a Saturnine Dreadnought, okay. And what are the weapons he's wielding in each hand, or are his hands?
Good Lord.
The one, as you look at him, our left, his right hand, looks like it could dispense whippy cream.
So it has plasma cannons and disintegrator arrays. I'm not sure what the two guns are known as. That it's
Are they even guns?
Yes. So one of them, the one with the kind of green dots, is the graviton pulverizer. So that's using graviton technology will be used to make things have a heavier mass. So it's used to make things collapse under their own weight, principally enemy fortifications. The second weapon that looks like a kind of cone there is the inversion beamer. I have no earthly idea what that does.
Turn stuff upside down and inside out.
I tell you what, it doesn't do anything good.
Yes. You want to find out, motherfucker?
Well, it does if you're on the firing end, I guess.
Yeah. The final kind of handful of vehicles we'll just have a quick look at are the one here that I've just posted up is a kind of mini Land Raider battle tank. It's called the Sicarian. So it was a very kind of swift, fast vehicle that got in there. You can see it's equipped much like a Predator. It's got a weapon on either side, a sponson weapon on either side. But then on the turret, it's got an enormous
as well.
Gatling gun. Yeah, it's a resin kit. You must be 15 or older to be killed by this vehicle. Yeah. So this configuration here is anti-infantry because of the huge rotary cannon that's mounted on the turret.
You want to wear a hat when going up against that.
We then have the stretched Land Raider that is the Spartan battle tank. So it's effectively a heavier version of the Land Raider that could carry more troops into battle. So you could deploy a full squad of 10 Terminators from this Spartan battle tank, or a squad of 20 power armor wearing guys. We then get into the kind of final two vehicles I wanted to show you. The first is the largest land vehicle kit, anyway, available to the Space Marine or Horus Heresy player, and that's called the Mastodon Assault Vehicle. You know those huge American truck rigs?
Humvees.
It is a mobile fortress, effectively.
And it looks like a mobile fortress.
Contain, I think it's up to 40 Space Marines can hang out inside of it. So it has an enormous array of weapons, including huge kind of multi-melta array right at the front. And that's used for, the vehicle is basically to be driven at an enemy fortification, and then it rams through into it, opens its doors, and disgorges the Astartes inside. It has on its back, on the kind of top at the back of the hull, is a anti-aircraft weapons array. So it was used to be able to get as much of your Astartes into battle as safely as possible, not necessarily as quickly as possible. The final vehicle we'll show from the Horus Heresy era, this is just a snapshot of some of the weirder ones, is what's called the Termite Assault Drill. And this was a subterranean rhino transport, effectively. And so it was a tunneler. It's effectively a cylindrical boring device that can carry a squad into battle by going underneath the enemy's kind of defenses.
Cool.
And
dug in like an Alabama tick.
Yeah, there are various sizes of these types of vehicle, mostly seen in Epic, in the Epic game system, the largest being the Hellbore, which could effectively deliver a company of Space Marines underground into an enemy base or enemy protected area. So that is, listeners will be delighted to hear, that is the last image-heavy episode, and all of the vehicles will appear in show note links. But that's it. So what we've done now is, over the past 4 episodes, had a look at Firstborn chapters, Primaris chapters, chapter command for both, and then the types of vehicles available to Space Marines. Thoughts, gentlemen? And this would be interesting to get your thoughts on this with the background of the Badab War as well, because a lot of these vehicles saw action in the Badab War.
Just the sheer amount of choice. Where do you even begin?
Yeah.
Like when you're playing the game, going, I have one of those, 2 of those, that, but without the
I'll simplify matters for you, Kral. You probably shouldn't go for any of the ones that have a 15+ label on them, because I know you're gonna hurt yourself. All right,
You'll just get bored.
Well, that narrows it down a little. Yeah, okay.
That removes 3 of the 37 images that we've just looked at. So yeah. I honestly have no idea how this is going down for the listeners, but we're having a wild time.
Applying this to the tabletop game, are you restricted by the units that you have decided to purchase at the end of the day? And therefore, does that limit the kind of game types that you can play, whether it's a defensive, fast assault, capture the flag type thing? You know what I mean?
Yes, there are optimal kind of vehicle choices, and I don't know, for instance, of a Space Marine army that doesn't include at least 1 Dreadnought, because they're so flexible and so effective on the tabletop. It really depends on the mission that you're playing and the enemy you're playing against, and this is where these competitive players really come into their own, because they'll construct a force that's really able to take on all comers, or have strategies to deal with different types of infantry or vehicles or monstrous creatures on the battlefield. So There is a bit of choice paralysis these days because the force organization chart has gone. But what used to happen is that you would have to have 2 kind of tactical style squads or troop squads and 1 commander at least. But then you could have more of those plus elites. So, veteran troops, but then you could have 3 fast attack options, and that's where you would see land speeders or bike squads or flyers come into your kind of the options you can pick for. And then you had 3 heavy support options, and that's where you would get individual tanks or a squadron of tanks. You used to be able to field a squadron of up to 3 predators as a single choice within that kind of organizational system. But nowadays, it's horses for courses, really. A lot of it will then come down to playing style. What do you prefer to play? Do you want to be range combat primarily with some kind of resistance to ground assault, or do you want to race forward and get in there as quickly as possible?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm paralyzed by the choice.
Makes you want to play. Makes you want to pick up a paintbrush and play.
I was looking at some because when I saw that Thunderhawk, it reminded me of seeing an image of it with some minis, so that you got the scale of it, and it is fucking huge. But I do remember seeing an image of a tank driving in through the opening at the front of the Thunderhawk. Does that mean that the vehicles are all in scale with each other? I know you said that the vehicles aren't necessarily in scale with the minis.
Yeah, no, the vehicles are not in scale with each other because the Thunderhawk would be the size of a table.
Okay.
So yes, there is some suspension of disbelief required when playing the tabletop game. Because if there were correct scale, I think I used the example that the Rhino would be the size of the Land Raider for it to be able to cope with the kind of size of the miniature guys. Or Space Marines, I suppose.
Wow. Well, bugger me with a fish fork.
Well, fucking moo. That is great fun.
Bugger me with a cow. That was, And do you know what? Inquisitor Randall McDaniel didn't write a single fucking question because he was too busy being enthralled by all of the vehicles. Yeah, it's a lot of choice in it.
Does Inquisitor watch live whilst we're doing this?
Sure, if that's what you need to do.
I'm sorry, I'm not taking any questions at this time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are we live?
For your own safety, Kral, don't ask that question. Okay. And on that note, I'm going to wrap up before you inquire anymore and get your frontal lobe removed. All right, that's all from us. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more 40K content, you can hit the Patreon link in the description and sign up today for our bonus show, 40KO'd. Details and imagery for the topics we discussed in this show, as well as all of those 37 show note images, can be found on our website at layingdownthelore.com, where we also have all our previous episodes, release schedules, and merchandise. You can also sign up for our Discord for free. Just hit the link in the description and come and tell us what you think of this size of vehicles in relation to the minis.
And I've lost the will to live.
Yeah. And you can sign our petition to have Games Workshop rework them into the proper sizes so that they're all proportional, so that we're all happy. Yeah. We'll be back again soon displaying just how little Kral and I know. And until then, a cheery moo.
Moo.
Meh.